you can't grasp it when it comes to reality, when it comes to the essential nature, you cannot grasp it. Um, Trying to grasp it is like trying to become it, and you can't become it. The you can't become it. But that is the nature of the mind, isn't it? To become something. We always become something by naming it, becoming a thought of it. And that is the nature of experience, isn't it? You learn through your experience and you learn through um, becoming knowing of something. And this becoming knowing of something becomes a pattern that allows you to internalize that knowing so that it's either a pattern of doing something or a pattern of recognizing something. And yet, we use that all through our life. But when it comes to our essential nature, uh, it's here that that mind becoming something, integrating something, doesn't work. Doesn't work. And in trying to get it, we call that seeking. Trying to understand the nature of consciousness because it's very, very frustrating when all you've ever done in life is try and work things out and develop certain patterns for things, certain develop skills or build knowledge. You can become your knowledge. Your mind can take on board lots of information. You can integrate that. But you can't do that with essential nature. You can't do that with the beingness, you know. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's the beingness that actually is the actual experience of all of this. But you can over-identify with the mind and think that where the mind becomes a thought of something, you can be mistaken in thinking that the thought is the thing. So your thoughts of reality you'll mistakenly think that's the pathway to reality. Well, that is that is reality, but um, it's actually in the absence of that. If you let go of the mind, which is something you can't do, it's so what you do is you learn to distinguish um, that knowing, the backdrop awareness or the witness. You discriminate, you distinguish that from the activity of the mind, because the mind will always become something. It will always be looking at you becoming you. That's the nature of the mind. It's very narcissistic. And if you identify with it, you become narcissistic. You become Narcissus. So to avoid that is just don't stop trying to understand it, stop trying to look for it, and just what is that? What is actually happening? If you drop everything, if you just let go of everything and stop trying to become everything, you'll come to see that behind everything is a screen of consciousness, just this screen of consciousness, and that this screen of consciousness we call the witness, and this knowing, I like to call it, um, is the backdrop to any form that arises. And you'll see that this knowing is actually the experience. That this identification with the mind, where the mind becomes something, thoughts of things, becoming the doer of things. Actually, that's the false self. And behind it is the true self, this knowing. But you've lost your knowing to the mind, creating thoughts, creating this doership, creating this thinker, and behind it is this screen of unqualified isness or witness, whatever. And it isn't a person, it isn't someone. It's indefinable. It's an emptiness, if anything. But the mind cannot grasp it. The mind cannot become it. Yeah. So let's give you an example. I mean, you can go out and have fun, can't you, with your friends, but you make that fun, don't you? You share your thoughts, your feelings, you laugh, and you create memories and you talk about it for days afterwards and you say that was great. And you create those things and you think, yeah, and that's how you go through life. You think you create your reality, you think you do that, and but really that's just you thinking your way through life. The truth is life is just happening. And behind it, this unconditional, unqualified witness is actually the experience, is the awareness that absorbs everything. And in reflecting back the knowing, on your thoughts, the thoughts then live in relation to this knowing, so experience return is always returning to your being. But you can be forgiven if you think that experience is something that returns to your mind, and your mind then returns to memory. But no, all of it returns to your being. That's the interesting thing. And it's the being that you can't become by the mind. You have to let go of the mind, distinguish the knowing from that. And then you get